I'm going to have to go ahead and say, based on this article from BuzzFeed, I really don't think anybody, like any civilian, was flying drones over Gatwick, and I think it was the police. This is a story. The police say that some drone sightings at Gatwick Airport were their own drones. However, the chief constable confirmed he was absolutely certain that there was an unauthorized drone at Gatwick Airport. I'm going to go ahead and say, dude is probably just trying to save face because they're embarrassed over their own drones shutting down the airport numerous times. The gist of the story, if you haven't followed it, is that Gatwick Airport, which is in the UK, it's like one of London's airports, kept getting shut down, like they were freezing flights, because people were saying there were drones flying overhead. And that's really dangerous, you know, plane could crash, theoretically. And it kind of went on for a long time. There was this couple that was accused of flying the drones. Some newspapers published their photos and called them the alleged, drone couple. It turned out they were innocent. They didn't actually do it. So now they're actually suing. But this is, it's part of a bigger story about the expansion of drones that I want to talk about. To wrap up what happened with Gatwick, it appears the police were actually flying their own drones. Isn't that funny? The chief constable of Sussex Police told BBC Radio 4 that he is absolutely certain there was a drone at Gatwick Airport, but admitted that some of the sightings may have been confused with a police drone used during an investigation, or maybe that was it. Maybe they didn't tell people there would be a police drone, or maybe there's no actual way to deal with it. Because think about it. If the police said, we are going to have a drone flying overhead, don't worry about it, and then a civilian did fly a drone, well, now you're in trouble because no one's going to report it. Or you're the police using a drone, everybody reports it, and you shut your own airport down. There's a lot more. It's going to get a lot worse. Trust me, the drone apocalypse is going to be terrifying, but let's continue. Britain's second busiest airport ground to a halt on Friday, December 1st, after reports of drones on the airfield caused hundreds of flights to be delayed, canceled, causing havoc in the run-up to Christmas. Many people would have been in an airport being able to judge pairs of lights moving at a distance, whatever it is, the constable Giles York said. One of the things is that we would have launched our own Sussex police drones at the time with a view to investigate, with a view to engage, with a view to survey the area looking for a drone, so there could be some level of confusion there as well. Last week, it was widely reported Detective Chief Superintendent Jason Tingley said that it was possible there were no drones at all. So, God, it's gonna... However, York said the officer was trying to describe an investigative approach where they tried to prove if the drone had been there in the first place. York said that while they haven't found the drone responsible, they're getting close to identifying the type of drone it was, and 92 out of 115 reports they received are from credible sources. So sure, I want to make sure I bring up the point of where we're going with this. There's going to come a time where drones present such a psychotic danger to the public. I believe they will be regulated to a way more extreme degree than you'd regulate guns. Because think about this. How do you know who's flying a drone? How do you know whose drone it is? You don't. You don't. Now, there's a lot of precautions that can be made, like you have to register your drone when you buy it, and it emits a certain signal so we can link that to somebody else. But does that work for guns? No. People are going to get hacked drones. I can build a drone in my basement. This technology means that there will come a time, I swear to God, there will come a time where you will see a drone zooming through New York City and everyone pointing at it confused because you can get a ridiculous range on drones, especially if you have a great vantage point, maybe even like 2 miles if you've got the right equipment. Some can go like much more than that. And what happens when that drone targets somebody and slams into them? What happens when it's one of these big octocopters and it's flying 35 miles an hour and crashes into someone's face on purpose? And to make matters worse, what happens when these drones carry some extremely dangerous materials, if you know what I mean, kind of materials, right? How do you stop that? I talked about this in 2011 because I was doing a lot of research and experimentation with drones, kind of like an amateur level. I actually worked with the Northeast Drone Coalition, I think it was called, to actually set up one of the first drone test facilities in the United States. I actually drove down. It was in, I can't remember where it was, Virginia or something. And we picked an airfield. And in this discussion, I said, there's no way to stop this, right? You could, there's this really funny video of a soccer game, and there's a drone flying overhead, and someone throws a roll of toilet paper, which takes out the copter, and it falls and crashes. That's also a huge problem. So think about this. We have these drone sightings at Gatwick Airport. What are you going to do about it? What are the police supposed to do if you actually see a drone? Are you going to try and capture it? Maybe drones have to come out with some kind of backdoor for law enforcement to apprehend. I mean, there's no constitutional right to having a drone. The point is, shooting a net at the drone It'll fall, it'll hurt somebody, especially if it's carrying some extremely dangerous materials, maybe some kind of like toxic element or explosive element, and there's nothing you can do. Once that drone is there, you are facing serious danger and it cannot be stopped. If a drone was flying through New York City, carrying dangerous materials, shoot it down? Well, great, there, target wherever it is, that's where the danger is. Once you see it flying in, there's nothing you can do. Theoretically, and I'll say this, even if you put restrictions on like trying to manipulate, control backdoors, everything can be bypassed. I actually met some researchers in Las Vegas who told me that they have built a drone that can transmit a signal which could hack into power plants. And they said if you send this drone within 40 miles of any one of these facilities, they could get the signal and actually hack the system. That's what, like, and I wonder if any people are actually considering this. Because right now the story is that drones are dangerous simply because they're there and the planes have to fly. Well, what did you do about it? This should be alarming to people. They did nothing. They just said no flights. Okay, well, if there's a drone there, how do you stop it? How do you take it down? How do you clear it so the airport can continue? You can't. They just had to wait for it. Imagine if someone had actual bad intentions with these drones. Well, I'll say this. Imagine if the drone actually existed, because apparently it didn't. Let's read what they say. They say York also apologized to a couple who were arrested and later released without charge after being named as suspects by a national newspaper. That's crazy. Paul Gate, 47, and his wife, Elaine Kirkegate, told Sky News, "Our home has been searched and our privacy and identity completely exposed. Our names, photos, and other personal information have been broadcast throughout the world." Here I am doing it again. Gate went on to say that the ordeal has taken a toll on the couple. "We are deeply distressed, as are our family and friends. We are currently receiving medical care." Yikes. So, the main reason I want to talk about this is that when the Gatwick stuff got shut down, I feel like people don't understand the severity of where drone technology is taking us. But there's another story, because it's just from yesterday. New York police to use drone for the first time at New Year's Eve party. The drone future is upon us. We're talking about drone deliveries. We're talking about police drones. We're talking about aerial just cameras for news stations. And we're talking about what comes with that. Motor failure, collapse, and the weaponization of drones, of small aerial drones that are going to cause scary problems for the average American. New York City police will use an aerial drone for the first time to monitor the crowds gathered in Times Square on Monday for the New Year's Eve ball drop celebrations, officials said on Friday, adding there is no known threat to the night's festivities. I would actually argue the drone is the threat. On New Year's, you're going to have thousands of people crammed in Times Square. What happens if someone fires confetti? One tiny little piece of paper gets in one of those blades and falls down into a crowd of people. Then what do? Now everyone's panicking? It sounds dangerous. And this is why there's rules and regulations about what you can or can't do. But of course, the police kind of just do whatever they want. There have been a bunch of funny stories, funny and kind of shocking, about police misuse of drones. There was one in Texas where they crashed their own drone, one of their own vehicles. What do you think's going to happen when you got all these people? I think it's a terrible idea. The camera-carrying drone will be tethered to the roof of a building. See, there you go, problem solved. And will not fly directly over the hundreds of thousands of revelers in the area. But it will add an additional vantage point alongside the 1,225 fixed video cameras that police will deploy. Using counter-drone technology, the New York Police Department will also work with federal agents to thwart any civilians tempted to fly their own drones through Manhattan's canyons as 2019 dawns. That's a good idea, but I also want to point out why even bother with a drone? Why not just take a camera on the roof and have a person point the camera? What's the point of going on the roof with a drone tethered? It's not going to do anything. You can just get a tripod and a better camera. It makes no sense. If you're not going to fly over the crowd, the drone is entirely pointless. Don't fly a drone that night, Police Commissioner James O'Neill told reporters at a news conference. If you fly one, there's a good chance you're going to end up getting arrested. Rogue drone operators recently crippled London's Gatwick Airport. You see where the stories come together? My God, airports being shut down over something that costs $50. $50! My God. Sharpshooters will take up positions on rooftops, and officers with long guns will stand guard at pedestrian checkpoints. Revelers will be screened before being admitted into security corrals for viewing the ball drop. Large bags and lawn chairs are banned. This is the future we're in. They're going to have sharpshooters. They're going to have sharpshooters to stop drones. Could you imagine the kind of chaos you would see if a gunshot went off and a drone fell from the sky over a crowd of people in Times Square? There'd be a stampede. People would get smashed up against buildings and grates. There'd be a ton of injuries, and probably a lot of deaths. This is where we're going because there's no accurate way to actually deal with the issue of this kind of unmanned aerial technology. They say police have also taken special precautions at high-rise hotels around Times Square, aiming to prevent any would-be attacker from using a hotel room as a sniper's nest. Yikes. In October 2017, a man spent days amassing an arsenal in a hotel in Vegas. Okay, yeah, we know about Vegas, come on. So, I don't know, you know what, I used to be much more into drones than I am now. I still have a couple, but I don't use them all that often, and everybody kind of was. But I thought it would be important to kind of do an update on the Gatwick situation and point out that the drone future is actually a kind of terrifying one. So, anyway, stick around, I got some more videos to come, and I'll see you in just a few minutes.